Hi, my name's Phil, and we appear to have got to 20,000 subscribers on the channel. The start of...
No, doing it differently now. That's better. So, thank you very much. 20,000 subscribers. It was only at the start of summer, or at least the summer holidays, that were at 15,000 subscribers. So that's quite good. I did sort of hope to get to 20,000 by the time I went back to work, which is in about a week and a half. So a little bit early there. All the more incredible as my original plans for the channel over summer, where I was going to be spending quite a lot of time on it, was sort of sidelined a little bit due to personal reasons. But that's actually really good. I'm really happy about that. Now, a few things I just want to explain, particularly for those who may be some of those 5,000 newer subscribers, just in terms of where we've come from. So, the channel technically started over a year ago, but I didn't really know what I was doing with it. It's only really at the start of this year, almost literally the 1st of January 2019, that I said, right, we're going to do politics, and obviously Brexit's a big thing now, so let's go with that. It's not the aim of the channel, of course, just to be a Brexit channel, but it is a channel that's mostly going to focus on British politics. There are sometimes a bit of international politics as well, but I know more about British politics, of course, and everything at the moment is overshadowed by Brexit, so ultimately everything's Brexit. For those who don't know, although at the moment I'm working, well, not right at the moment, but at the moment I'm working, I am going to be moving to doing this full-time in January. So the more that the channel can grow by January, the better. Obviously, as you might imagine, the main concerns that I might have are, will I be able to transition as we move away from Brexit? I don't know when Brexit's going to stop. End of October, something's going to happen. We're either going to leave with no deal. I suppose Brexit will run and run at that point. Maybe it won't. Maybe Parliament will stop it and go, right, we can't keep kicking the can down. We're going to take control. We're going to issue another public vote. And it'll run for a little bit more. Who knows what. But at some point, I want to be able to transition towards a post-Brexit future for the channel, just like I want the country to have a post-Brexit future as well. And I say post-Brexit, I'm talking about Brexit as in not exiting the EU, but the nonsense situation we've had for the past few years, where we've pretended to want to leave the EU when, frankly, most people just don't want to. But who knows? Who knows? In terms of changes the channel, obviously, I've got a new setup now. It has drawn a little bit of controversy over the last couple of days. I will be explaining more of that later on in this video as well. Hopefully not too... I don't want to ramble too much. But just to briefly explain what I've done with the channel since the last marker, the 15,000 subscribers, and what I want to continue to do with it. So of course the whole point of the new setup was because I want to be able to read the scripts. In an issue between script and vlog, the problem with vlogs is, now I've done YouTube technically for a few years. I had another channel before this, didn't get to be, I mean, this is now larger than that was. And I'm hoping it's going to get much larger still. That would be fantastic. It's on not such a limiting subject as well, if I'm honest. And so I used to do vlog. I used to have notes in front of me, but essentially just chat. The problem with that is you end up running too long. Now, I always get a lot of people who go, well, I quite like the longer ones. I like those ones. The issue is that most people don't. And YouTube doesn't work like that. And I was talking to someone who was a supporter of mine on the previous channel, who is an academic who works on this, and also, as well as researching, advises companies on social media strategy. And he was basically telling me, look, you know, there'll be people who go onto YouTube and they'll watch a 5-minute video, and then they'll watch another and another. They'll watch 10 5-minute videos in a row, but they will not click on a 15-minute video. Oh, that's too long. So I knew when I was doing this channel, and I wanted to do this channel much more serious. The other one was really just purely an expression of my hobby. And although politics is a big interest of mine, it's a much more serious one, and I wanted to make this channel more serious. So I thought, I need to tighten that up. And I can't help going off on a tangent. I can't help waffling. So eventually I realised I needed to script them. And as I'll show you in a moment, the downside to that is it's quite clear. I mean, it's always going to be clear, I suppose, reading from a script until I suppose I can maybe get better at reading from a teleprompter. But as people people pointed out, you keep looking down. It's quite obvious you're looking down. You should get a teleprompter. Now, at the time, I was looking it all up and I was thinking this is going to cost a lot of money, and it did. And at the time, of course, couldn't justify it. Now, of course, I can, thanks to the fact that the channel has grown and also thanks to the patrons. So I've now been able to afford the kit to do it all, which is new lights, teleprompter itself. The teleprompter itself is just a beam splitter. That's no good on its own. So I needed a tablet. I got a fairly cheap one, a Kindle Fire, to use a teleprompter app on it. That works pretty well. And the camera, I did have a camera, DSLR camera, didn't have an external mic input though. Now there are a couple of ways around that, but I felt that it's better just to have the mic input there. So I don't have to keep, because I was thinking there's already going to be editing with this setup as well. I don't need the editing of matching an audio and a video file together, even though I'm not saying it'll take forever, but I would just prefer if it goes straight into the camera. And so I got a different DSLR camera as well, a new one as well. So, you know, it's all now set up and working, and you know, the lighting is hopefully better as well. So what I really need to do is, in terms of making sure it works for everyone, because, you know, people have been noticing it has improved over the last few videos, and hopefully it will continue to improve. I will point out a few things though. So this is not the first time I've changed this setup while I've been doing YouTube. I have changed it multiple times before, and every single time I've done so, there's been people go, oh, I don't like this, not as good. So my issue is I have to distill, in terms of the comments, the people who don't like it because it's new, but actually after a week they'll get used to it, or the people who have genuine objections, because there are obviously genuine objections, so that I can work through those. Because as I say, from my point of view, I am going to do scripts. I'll do the odd vlog. I did a vlog yesterday. That just proved my point in many ways. The reason I did that vlog is I thought, you know what, I don't really need to script that. I'm not going to spend 10 minutes talking about this. And then it ended up being 15 minutes. And 15 minutes is quite short when I go on a ramble. So I need to distill those two things. What are the actual issues that I can do something about? What are the issues that are just because it's new, it looks a bit funny? Then when you look at the actual issues, the people saying specifically, well, this is an issue for me, or this is an issue for me, then you have to distill from those what is genuine and what is not. And I'll give you a couple of examples. One thing that people said was the lights are too bright. Now, first of all, they possibly were. I've reduced those a little bit. But I had a couple of comments that were saying the lights are too bright. It was better with the old setup. Now, these lights are not as bright as my lights upstairs in the old setup, and they're further away. So, you know, as a physicist, I know that that couldn't possibly be true. How could it be that dimmer lights further away look brighter than the other ones? So I knew that couldn't be true, but there are other ones that are. So people suggested that the lights were just that harsh white light was making me look too pale. I am actually pale. I don't go out in the sun, by the way. When we used to go on holiday when I was a little kid with my family and they used to take us to hot places, I used to cover up from head to foot like this. Anyway, big old hat, sunglasses, I was covered. Never liked the sun. Outside gives you cancer. You should know this. I know this. But that was easily solved because unlike the lights upstairs, which again you'll see in a bit, these ones can be controlled. They have the LED lights to the side of me, which the purpose of those is to try and reduce shadows behind me for the green screen purposes. They have a white light balance and an orange light balance. So I just turned the white light down to 0 and the orange up to full. The ring light in front of me is LED ring light, has filters. They were white. I took the white ones off and put the orange ones on. And hopefully it looks a bit more fleshy now, I guess. So people have said that that's an improvement. I also turned them down a bit on the ring light there. So that all, you know, it works fine. It's the same sort of setup because I have a ring light around my webcam and I have the two lights either side of me upstairs, but they're fixed. I suppose I can adjust the brightness of the ring light upstairs, but not the two side lights. So this is what I need to go through. Then the strange request is, obviously upstairs I'm sat down. Here I'm not. I could be. I could just get a chair, plonk myself down, lower everything down, and would be good. The other thing as well is, you know, I talked about the lights. Some people talking about the camera height as well, and I can keep adjusting that a little bit. But I am still getting comments saying you need to be level with the camera. I am level with the camera. I'm staring straight down the barrel of the camera right now. Wasn't always the case. If you were basing this on the first video, fair enough, it was a bit lower. That may just be where I'm reading it on the teleprompter. Another thing I've been practicing and adjusting is the teleprompter speed. So if it goes too fast, obviously I end up rabbiting. I think one of my patrons actually said, Fraser said, oh my God, you're not even blinking. I think that was because I had it on too fast. So I've slowed it down a little bit. But the problem with slowing it down a little bit, there's good things and bad things. The good thing is it means you can ad lib now and then, because I do that even when I've got a script. The downside is that if you're not doing so much of that and you say something a bit too quickly, you're then having to pause and wait for the thing to come up as well. And you may be reading it when it's a little bit below, because the beam splitter screen goes up there, the camera's in one place. I'm not always reading the line when it's dead in line with the lens, if you see what I mean. So maybe that's something else that can be improved on as I get more and more used to this. And yeah, so in terms of what I want to do, obviously, is make this work. When I'm doing it part-time, I'm probably going to be keeping this set up here, to be honest with you. But when I go full-time, it's actually not bad. It doesn't take that long to break it down, store it away somewhere and get it out again, like 20, 30 minutes, I think. I think 20 minutes once I get practiced with it. So I think the idea would be split my days when I'm full-time in two. Half the day to be working on scripts, half the day on recording and editing. So that way, you know, when I'm ready to record, set everything up. I don't think it's going to take that long. Do the recording, strike it back down again, go and do the editing. Or maybe I'll actually go do the editing first, just in case something's wrong and I need to re-record something, then take it all down, and we're ready for the next day. So yeah, it does need this room. It'll be, you know, but I cannot put the teleprompter upstairs, as you'll see in a moment. So let's have a look now at the difference, so you can compare between the new setup and the old setup side by side. So this is the new setup. As you can see, the pros and cons to it. The lights are a great deal more controllable, as you will have seen from the last few days. Obviously, the first video I did with that, everyone was going, oh no, the light's bad. And gradually, hopefully they've got better. I think people have agreed that they have got better. I'll show you the comparison in a moment. It does mean, of course, occupying my lounge. It's blocking the television, which I never watch anyway. Watch it use DVDs. But this can be taken down relatively easily. And the main reason for this in the first place, remember, was to be able to read the script. And I'm going to go over that in a few minutes, but that is impossible to do with the older setup. So there have been a few things to go over. So in terms of some people adjusting to the changes. So what I would say is these lights are more adjustable. I can read, I'm not reading a script right now, I don't need to, I'm just waffling. But I can read a script quite easily. The camera as well is very different. It's not just different lights. Some people are looking at it, oh, it's different lights. It's the issue, or it's the fact that you're not sat down. I suppose I could get a chair, bring everything down and sit down as well. There have been a couple of little things, like first of all, the camera itself, where I was before, is just a webcam. Now, it's a decent webcam, but it's still a webcam. This is a DSLR, obviously better quality. Maybe that better quality is what's making me look ill. Maybe I am ill. In actual fact, I always do have, well, I say always, quite low vitamin D. I do have to take supplements for that, and if I forget, which I haven't been doing this week, then maybe that's that. Someone actually described me as being like a vampire without the fangs. Outside gives you cancer. I don't go outside very often, so maybe that is just literally it. But to compare with the older one, so you can have a direct comparison, let's have a little look at that then.
Whereas here in the man cave, yeah, I'm sat down nice and comfortably. But if I want to actually read from one of my scripts, then there's nothing for it. Let's get the latest one. Here we go. This is one from today's. There's nothing from it. The webcam's there, yeah, nice and aligned, but I have to look down here, sneakily scrolling up and down. The lights to either side of me, you can see the bulbs in them. So I can't control the brightness at all. They're quite close onto me. The webcam's quite close onto me. Another little thing sometimes people say as well, again, when I was talking, and I'm talking about distilling useful information from less useful information. So this is actually very rare. I think I've only had a few people say this, but you occasionally get someone who will say something like, they'll look at it, the audio won't be quite what they're expecting. They'll think, I know what he's doing. I know he's using the webcam mic. Rookie error, I'll help him out. Hey, buddy, why don't you use a proper microphone? Been using that for some years. So I do. In fact, actually, that's a lot better than what I'm having to use downstairs at the moment. The audio is still... So I've sort of talked about a bit of a hiss there. I can detect it. Other people are saying, actually, no, it's fine. Okay, that means I don't have to solve it as urgently as I thought I might have done. But I'd still be a lot happier if I can get better quality audio in my new setup downstairs as well. But yeah, I mean, this is how this looks. And you can compare the two directly. I think the other one looks better, I've got to say. It's certainly, should we say this? It's certainly a truer representation of me. Like I say, this camera is a decent webcam, but it's a webcam. It's not going to hold a candle to a DSLR. The lighting, it's better than the lighting I had before this lighting. And when I changed to this lighting, everyone said it was terrible. But and then just now apparently this lighting's brilliant. And the new lights, I'm pretty sure every time I've changed the lighting, it has actually got better. So hopefully bear with me on that one. But let me know what you think anyway.
So there we go. I mean, a lot of the newer news is to do with the newer setup. Another thing possibly to talk about in terms of intentions would be other things that I should be doing around the channel. So various patrons and others have been sort of suggested things. One thing I'll definitely want to be working on is a trailer for the channel, but I need to sort of think about that. Another one for Patreon as well, and work out what I'm going to be doing with that. And really, I think it's also deciding on formats of the day. So over summer, there've been days when I've been doing 3 videos, some 2 videos, the occasional day when it's been 4 videos. Now, for full time, I don't know how many it's going to be. I can do 4. I know I can do 4 a day. In terms of scripting, I know that I could do that over the course of 5 days as well, still leaving the weekends free. Bearing in mind, one part of the weekend often is for a live stream on Patreon. But the ideal would probably be, I'm thinking, 3 videos on the weekdays, 2 on each of the weekends. However, depending on how it goes, because sometimes doing too many videos sort of takes away. Like, for example, from the YouTube algorithm's point of view, what they're doing is promoting, my latest videos to people who might be interested in that sort of content. Now, if I do 4 videos, it's possible that I don't actually get any more views overall for the channel than doing 3. And obviously, if I'm doing 3 a day, I can spend more time on those 3 a day. Also, it means I can spend more time on extra things, whether it be editing, whether it be looking at technical things, technical improvements, that sort of thing as well. So, or even potentially location filming now and then, if I can work to the point where I give myself a day free to go out and do something. Don't know what, there isn't anything particularly political in my area, but you never know. So the aim is, as I say, 19 a week, but it can go up to 28 a week as necessary. So that's really the aim for when I'm full time. My hope at the moment is, so in a week and a half I go back to work. At that point I'm juggling between work, this, my relationship, visiting girlfriend, so on. So that means there's probably going to be a little bit more vlogs as well, because there's bound to be, the irony is, going back to work, we're entering the period of time where all of a sudden Brexit's going to go crazy. September, October, it's going to be insane. March was fairly insane. This is going to be more so. So there will be probably more videos where I'm just sort of saying things quickly, initial thoughts, as well as the scripted ones more considered as well. But we'll see how that goes. And then in January, when I go full time, ironically, it might quieten down a bit. Who knows? I don't know. We'll wait and see. But thanks very much for your support anyway. Hopefully that support will continue and more will get on board. And who knows where we'll be at the end of this year. Hopefully we'll have at least got to 25,000, maybe even pushed to 30,000. That'd be good. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. And until next time, I'll see you later.